This video is being brought to you by These Slippers Suck production.
Warning.
I want to watch the news.
Are you making headway at least?
This is the news.
Schmack-a-ma-gob, it's time for the only news that matters. And the first time Gene Simmons of Kiss saw AC/DC play live was on a summer night in August 1977 at the Whiskey A Go-Go in Los Angeles. And we remembered it as if it was yesterday. He said, "I'd never heard of AC/DC and I thought it might be a gay band," noting that in America, AC/DC is a slang term for bisexuality. What he discovered instead was the most straight shooting of rock and roll bands, both in terms of the simplistic drive of the music and the overly heterosexual content of Bon Scott's lyrics. Among the songs that were regular in the band's set back then was Whole Lotta Rosie and Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be, about a woman messing with Bon's head, and the Jack, about STDs passing around the band by a female admirer. AC/DC's performance that night connected with Simmons on a whole other level. He said, "I was blown away. No minor chords here, mate. Just major chords hitting you in the balls. It was all, as you say in England, meat and two veg." I was just mesmerized by the band. Bon Scott was a force of nature with his shirt off, drinking. It was like a homeless crazy guy had jumped up on stage. He never had that sort of rock star sheen or any kind of showmanship. It just felt like a stream of consciousness explosion of his inner demons on stage. Simmons saw a similar manic quality in Angus. He said when the lights went out at the end of each song, Angus was still going crazy, doing that Chuck Berry thing, during the blackouts with nobody watching. And I said to myself, this is the real deal. This is a guy that does it because he feels it inside. After the show, Gene Simmons went into full schmooze mode in the band's dressing room. He said, "In those days I wore 7-inch heels even when not on tour. So I was towering over Angus, who is a tiny human being." And he said, "Oh, you're that Kiss bloke with the tongue." I said, "Yeah, I need to talk to you." I had a limo outside and I convinced him to come with me to Ben Frank's, a 24-hour restaurant where touring musicians would eat and hang out before they went to the Rainbow to pick up chicks. Said, Angus ordered beans and frankfurters, and I remember him picking up a frankfurter with his left hand and biting into it on one side of his mouth because he had a lot of teeth missing. I was talking my head off like a fan. I said, "You're coming on tour with us." And AC/DC did open for Kiss on the Kiss Alive 2 tour, a handful of dates in December of 1977. Simmons remembered how he and Paul Stanley of Kiss, we would pause putting on the makeup to talk about this band. It was 3 chords, kick, snare, bang. We were stunned by the simplicity and the brilliance of it. So my recollections are fond. Was a fan. I'm still a fan. At the end of the day, people want to hear the songs. And that's more important than who's in the band. AC/DC have had, over 20 different members. Kiss has had different lineups, just like football teams have different lineups. And if you're a fan of the team, you're a fan of the team. With Van Halen in the early days, David Lee Roth was God. On stage, nobody can touch him. So you couldn't imagine Van Halen without Roth. Yeah, I still can't imagine it because when Roth was not in Van Halen did not exist. Sammy Hagar sucks. Anyway, yeah, you know, when I interviewed Gene, I asked him, this was the weirdest part of my interview with him. I said to him, you know, back in the 70s, you had AC/DC open for you guys. Do you have any cool Bon Scott stories? And he said to me, which is so weird, if I tell you, I'd have to kill you. What does that even mean? And then I said to him, what, is it a bad thing? No. Then he just avoided the question. It's like, why don't you just, I don't know what. I stayed in my dressing room with Paul. And we heard it through the walls. We didn't really, you know, hang out with Bond. Why couldn't he just say that? I guess, I don't know, man. Just so very odd, man. But anyway, goddamn, AC/DC with Bon Scott opening for Kiss during the Kiss Alive 2 tour. Kiss Alive 2 tour was phenomenal. You know, it still had the Love Gun stage and costumes and stuff. You know, one of my favorite, not really talked about, pro shot of Kiss is Alive 2, that show. That was actually a bonus disc on one of those Kissologies. Dude, that's like one of that show and Winterland would be my two favorite Kiss concerts, really. You know, the sound and everything on that Kiss Alive 2 tour, phenomenal. Not very talked about. And can you imagine seeing that tour with AC/DC opening? I mean, how mind-blowing must it have been for these people to go to this show, especially those that don't even know who AC/DC is, and they come out and there's this little guy in a school uniform running back and forth on the stage the whole damn time. And you have Bon Scott, the ultimate rock star, man, to me. Yeah, I guess, you know, he didn't model himself like Gene sees rock stars, but I look at Bon Scott and I see a pure, real rock star. I mean, like, not manufactured. This is the real deal. And to me, a rock star is not... Gene is like describing Paul Stanley or Steven Tyler. These people that model themselves to be, you know, larger than life. Where Bon was just the real deal, man. You know, out there, no teeth, no shirt, and spitting out the greatest rock and roll lyrics ever, in my opinion. Greatest lyricist, hands down, with this band. This pure rock and roll band with, you know, Phil Rudd, man, Malcolm, the greatest rhythm players, Cliff or Mark Evans, man, solid shit, man. You know, AC/DC couldn't be fucked with, and you know, Kiss is infamous for taking out amazing bands. They took out Rush, Cheap Trick, AC/DC, you name it, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden. You know, cream of the crop. They took out Tom Petty, Bob Seger. You know, it's an amazing amount of killer opening acts where Van Halen, on the other hand, back in the 80s with David Lee Roth, they had the most crappiest unknown bands opening. And like the only known band I saw open for Van Halen back then, they didn't even have an album out, but they became known, and that was Autograph. Autograph opened for Van Halen 1984 tour, but they didn't have an album out. So that doesn't, again, it's like unknown bands, and they were all crappy. And actually, as I recall from the Autograph band, it was just, yeah, it's another crappy band, because I saw I think it was called the Cats, open one of them. The Fair Warning tour, the opening band didn't even have a guitar player at a Van Halen show. How crazy is that? Unlike Kiss, who brought out fucking amazing bands out with them. And you gotta applaud Kiss for that. But, hey, what do you all think, man? Leave it in the comments below. Gene discovering AC/DC. You a fan of AC/DC? You a fan of Kiss? Let me know in the comments below. Who do you like more, Kiss or AC/DC? If you ask me, I like AC/DC more with Bond, but I like Kiss, 70s Kiss more than AC/DC with Brian. But I love them all. What do you all think? Leave it in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching The Only News That Matters. I really do appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope you are subscribed to my channel. If you're not, please subscribe to my channel. Hit that little notification bell. And in case you are subscribed to my channel, please check to see if you're still subscribed, because people are getting unsubscribed for no reason, and that really sucks. Anyway, thank you so much for watching again, and please, please, please like the video. It's good for the YouTube algorithms. So stay frosty, listen to Black Sabbath, and smack 'em a gob.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.
This video was brought to you by These Slippers Suck Production.
I'm out of here.